John Jones has severe arthritis in his head. And it has to be from all the years of injecting steroids right there. Well, the downward spiral of combat sports continues. The de-evolution. It was once upon a time when you were no longer up there as the main event. You trickled down lower in the card. And then eventually you'd end up in the prelims. And then the pre-prelims. And then at some point you might find yourself sitting there commentating next to Karen Bryant. Then you might end up in the PFL. You might end up boxing Jake Paul or even Salt Papi. You might end up in Real American Freestyle or BKFC or Dirty Boxing or maybe even PowerSlap. And then eventually you pass on down the road until you knock on that door of the OnlyFans. Well, we got something called Run Nation Championships right now. Apparently, it used to be called Run It Straight. Just to break it down for you real fast, the Run Nation Championships is simply two dudes standing at the end of a line, and when they say go, they run toward each other full speed, full force, no headgear, no protective gear, nothing like that. And they collide to see who will get the best knockdown. You know how like in football, they give you the Heisman Trophy? With this organization, they're going to give you the Chris Benoit Trophy or the Aaron Hernandez. Now, I don't know if I'm following the breadcrumbs correctly here, but it looks like at some point, Taito Ivasa got involved. I don't know if he became a investor or they needed to put a big face to the name or what, literally. A big face. It's not necessarily, I mean, the dude's on a 6-fight skid. So I think it's literally a diameter type of situation. These dudes are big. And now this is part of that downward trajectory of the combat sports. This is one of those things that you can now find yourself in. Let me put it into perspective for you. We've seen the path, Paige Van Zant's downward trajectory. It's just like those things on The Price is Right where they drop that ball and you just see it go all over the place, but no matter where it's going down. We've witnessed that downward trajectory that is Paige's career, and apparently so was Taito Ivasa. He called her, he said, Paige, I'm calling from the Run Nation Championships. Would you be willing to let a dude run straight into you? And she said, on OnlyFans, yes. On Run Nation Championships, Chale, I ain't putting my stamp of approval on that. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. She said, I will touch a 10-foot pole on my OnlyFans, but I don't want to have nothing to do with that organization. Paige said, I would do anything for money. I've already done some terrible things for money, but I won't do that. No, I won't do that, yeah. And I can't blame her. And it's weird for me, to be honest, because I love the Freak Show. I'm known for loving the Freak Show. My favorite superhero is the Toxic Avenger. I'm sick in the beanie. And when Jane Caulfield, a loyal, devoted member of the Mexican martial arts community, when Jane Caulfield mentioned the Run It Straight, organization to me, and I kind of caught a whiff of what was going on, I got a little bit excited. I almost ended my stream. Because I from what I heard, and then I clicked off and I saw some of it and I was like, oh. And so I checked it out and it made me feel a little bit sick. It reminded me of this movie that I saw when I was a little kid. It was actually my Tío Beto's movie. I was at his pad and I was trying to remember the old VHS tapes. It had like the outside cover. I was trying to watch Miss Congeniality, but on the inside, the tape was something called The Faces of Death. And nobody was there. I watched the whole movie all by myself, and it traumatized me. And it still bothers me to this day that I still haven't seen Miss Congeniality. So I thought I was going to like the Run Nation Championships. I thought it was going to be something that I could get into and get excited about, because especially we had just, and look, I'm not trying to be one of these dudes. I'm not trying to hate on the Paramount Plus era. I've been liking it so far, but that fight night, for the most part, was kind of a snoozer. So I was like, all right, maybe this is going to get me amped up again, but it just gave me a stomach ache, man. And the more I would research it, the more that I was like confirming, like, yeah, this is kind of twisted. And then I guess apparently last year or somewhere about a year ago, a teenager was participating in it and he died. But here's the thing. You can't just point to something and be like, we need to get rid of this because somebody died. Because if anything, that's just gonna make him like the people that are involved, they're gonna make a martyr out of him. And they're gonna be like, it's because he passed away, we can't end this. Then it will have all been for nothing. We can't let him have died in vain. We gotta keep doing this. Like they're gonna name one of the titles after him or something. It's kind of like when Moses passed away and then, you know, Satan was trying to fight, you know, Michael over the body, and he's like, chale, because he knew that the people were gonna make like an idol out of him, and that's not the way the storyline's supposed to go. You know, I'm getting off track. Jailton Almeida is going back to 205 pounds after his loss to Rizvan Kunayev. Coincidentally, Paddy Pimblett is also going back to 205 pounds after his loss to Dustin Gaethje. An MMA fighter was disqualified after biting his opponent's ear. Paddy Pimblett responded by saying, "You mean I could have been eating during the fight too?" Ian Machado Gary's been playing matchmaker for the welterweight division. He's also been playing matchmaker for his wife and all of her husbands. John Jones has severe arthritis in his head. And it has to be from all the years of injecting steroids right there. Thank you, that's my time. Please show love to the algorithm. So if they really want to get rid of this thing, they have to take the narrative. Again, unfortunately, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but they got to take the narrative away from the kid that passed away, because like people pass away in cars all the time, right? In car accidents. They're not going to make cars illegal. People, imagine someone's out there on a boat and they drown in the Pacific Ocean. Are you going to make oceans illegal? Like you're going to lock them up? What if some kid like does a backflip off his house and he kills himself? You're going to make houses illegal? It doesn't work like that. You got to have a different angle. In my opinion, one of the best ways to make something go away, like this whole organization of people, to make them just open up their eyes and be like, you know what? It was a lost weekend. Can we just forget this ever happened? You got to make them feel stupid. You got to make them feel embarrassed about their doing when they get a look in the mirror. Do you ever look at a photo of yourself from like 4, 5, 10 years ago and you're like, how come nobody told me, bro? Whether it was the way you were doing your hair, your clothes, your makeup, your style, whatever it was, you're like, bro, what? Like, you just wish that you could have had that perspective, that insight. It's like, to keep it real basic, when I'm on my phone and I'm just scrolling and I'm not thinking anything of it, I'm just living my life and I'm just looking at whatever and some giggles here and there. But then when Marilena has my phone and she's going through my watch history and whatnot, I'm like, why did I watch that? And what were those research purposes? And then I could have swore I just scrolled and that was there. But then how come it's showing that I actually searched it? And then how come I watched that same one again 2 days later a couple times? Like when you get an outside perspective, it makes you think and become hyper aware. Like, I should second guess some of my activities, some of them. And it made me feel that way when I was watching their Instagram page and I saw these dudes. Bro, I saw the dude, whoever it was that won one of the Run Nation championships, and he was acting like you would expect someone to act like they just won a gold medal. Like they just became the first quadruple champion ever. And they're active. Dana White allowed it again. They're active in all 4 divisions and they're an Olympian. And they just broke, like they were acting like it was the craziest thing ever. And then the people in the comments were affirming them and saying, yeah, come to our city. This is amazing. I love this. So it seems like right now they're in this gigantic bubble of affirmation and validation. So they're kind of like those people that go on American Idol because everyone around them was telling them that they were good and that they had something special. Even all the people in the venue at the Run Nation Championship, they're probably all drunk. I don't know, but it's like, I don't think anyone has popped that bubble yet. I don't think anyone has infiltrated and been like, Taito Ivasa was literally standing there holding a belt. They get a belt for this. They get a belt. It's them getting a bout for this activity is like if Bonnie Blue got a bout for her activities and you're constantly seeing somebody get knocked. Actually, from the footage I've seen, most of the time you're seeing both fools get knocked out. The problem with making these fools feel stupid, though, and feel any kind of shame whatsoever, is that it seems like and not even a society. It's not even like a culture, because I don't want you to think that there's pockets of this. It's worldwide. It's global. It seems as though we currently live in a civilization that has no sense of shame. And again, I like the freak show. I want to see a dude. I like to watch those Russian promotions where there's like a dude, he's like 7'2", and he has no arms, and he's fighting like a midget that's holding like a broomstick that's on fire. And then, some lady hops the cage and she starts fighting both of them. And she's like 450 pounds. I love to see that kind of stuff, bro. But this ain't even a combat sport. Even PowerSlap, at least there's some kind of, at least you're using your limbs. At least you're striking. This is just a collision. It's typically not my route to be a square, to be a buzzkill with this kind of stuff. Again, I love the freak show, but this is too much. This ain't even combat sports. This ain't even fighting. It's like people have it within us in our DNA to be rubberneckers and scope out the car accidents, right? Because there's just something in us that makes us stop, look and listen, baby. Like we just have to, even though it's sad, it's messed up because somebody might have got hurt. A life might have been lost. That's not cool. The thing that could make this cool, I would tune in and watch Run Nation Championships if there was a change in the competition. Because right now, I'm seeing these dudes get all stiffened up. And, they probably got babies back home. They got families. They got wives. They're going to ruin any brain cells that they have and just ruin the future of their whole family. But if we could put people on death row in there, if we put child predators in there, if we could throw some door-to-door salesmen in there, if we could put people in there that society would be better without. People in there that, if something went sideways, not only does nobody care, it's probably it kind of rushes the legal system who's always dragging their feet. That's something that I could get behind. I would love, and, Paramount Plus aside, I would happily pay the $80 plus the $10 or $15, whatever, for ESPN Plus to watch a child predator with a door-to-door salesman. Take my money.